soil and fungi. Do you have soil and you don't see these fungi? Then your soil is inactive and it is actually struggling. This is a fuel cell for soil. But more to the point, soil is alive, and these mushrooms bring them alive. Look at this. This is one awesome mushroom. Here, I'll get right down underneath it if I can. There we go. Now, I mentioned that they're a fuel cell, and the way that they work is, see the white underneath? They're a spore from this mushroom, and it grows from a female and male spore, and they turn into a hyphae, and the hyphae turns into mycelia, which is a network of roots. So the hyphae is one root, and the mycelia is a network of roots. Then in the end, you end up getting a mushroom, and the mushroom is the fruiting body of the hyphae. So that's what fungi is just broken down NPK, nutrients, moisture and minerals, down to a yeast value. Well, it's very much like a yeast, but it's just a fuel cell of nutrients broken down. When this breaks down, which it breaks down in a couple of days, it goes back into the soil. And what does that do? That fuel cell then feeds this area on such a scale that you just wouldn't see in nature. It's incredible, like the ability for these mushrooms to help the soils are significant. And this is a little baby mushroom that's popping up. There's two of them here, and they're going to basically start to restore the soil around this tree. That's a big tree, and it doesn't need many mushrooms, but this is actually restoring the soil fertility here. So what is it that you're struggling with? It's getting enough species and biodiversity to replace what was originally there, which was mushrooms. And then those mushrooms break down the nutrients, and it goes through the whole cycle. And in fact, flies and different animals come here and eat the mushrooms if they're edible. You'll see little nibbits and bites out of them from animals if it is an edible species. And in fact, they drop seeds here, and then the evolution starts all over again of the soil and plants and everything like that. So if you want to learn how to grow your soil, or what species to get in to your location, and you want your soil to grow, contact Earthlove Global, www.earthloveglobal.com.au. That's earthloveglobal.com.au on Google or even on the internet. Earthlove Global is all about mycorrhization systems that restore soils on a significant level. Now, we don't take long. We put the spores out, we get some ground cover, we cover it up. It seems so easy, doesn't it? And it can be, but then it can be so difficult to understand other aspects. So businesses that are supplying compost, which Earthlove Global supplies for soil remediations, We inoculate our compost. We supply biochar for soil, and this is also inoculated with beneficial fungi. So anytime you need more information and you'd like to learn more on how to grow your soil's potential, then contact Earthlove Global on earthloveglobal.com.au to rejuvenate your soil. We have Myco 15, which is a commercial grade Mycorrhizae fungi. These species are Australian species, and they're an Australian mycorrhizae. And it's a commercial grade, so they're really strong and potent. You put these back into your soils and you start to plant what you want to plant. I'd like to talk to you about the mycorrhizae a little bit more. And this is on soil as well. See, soil isn't just soil, is it? So you've got biochar, which turns into terra preta. You should research that and have a look at that. Earthlove Global does a lot on terra preta on YouTube. But mycorrhizae, coming back to mycorrhizae, mycorrhizae is what they call fungi, beneficial fungi, in fact. And having a commercial grade beneficial fungi, you put it on your crop for 1 year, okay? And you've got one species of crop, and you don't grow that crop for another year. Well, guess what? Those fungi and those spores pretty much would be eradicated from that location. And how do you get that back? Well, you're going to have to reapply new fungi to the plant species. Why is this? Mycorrhizae only live in soil for 1 year. They're a living organism. Now, why do they only live there for 1 year? I mentioned in soil, it doesn't have a plant host. These fungi love to live off of plants. So biodiversity is key. Biodiversity builds your mycorrhizae biodiversity. One species, one plant. Let's think of it in a simple term. Okay, one species might cover several plants, but let's think of it one species, one plant. Well, if you grow for 2 to 3 years and then you put a different crop in, are you replenishing your beneficial species of different mycorrhizae? The only way it's going to get back there is by a worm dropped out by a kookaburra, or, you know, these are natural forms of replenishment, but that could take thousands of years. So the best way is to get onto Earthlove Global and restore your beneficial fungi in your soil by coating uncoated seeds and replenishing your landscape every 1 to 2 years, depending on your plant species and your crops. I hope this has really helped in regards to understanding soil a little bit better. Now, soil, I'm going to talk about soil horizons. This is going to be a quick snippet. Soil horizons. Okay, these are the different layers of soil, and let's come here, for instance. Okay, this doesn't matter if we're on million-acre properties, farms, or in the forest. And right now, we're in part farm forest. So this here, you can see the organic matter on top, all leaf sticks, everything like that. This is great. You want this. You want this or compost, really fluffy compost. And you come down and you're like, okay, what's this? That's the next soil horizon. Now, there's O, A's, E's, soil horizons. There's so many different soil horizons, but if you want to keep it simple, which we do, organic matter, humus, topsoil, subsoil. Now that's right down real deep. So that's the different layers. Subsoil right down underneath, then you come up, and then you come up, and then you come up. So these are the different layers. Now, this layer feeds this layer feeds this layer feeds this layer. Okay? So the nutrients from here is here. How can a plant root get it from here? Beneficial fungi. If a root is here, which you can see, and you don't have the fungi, how can it get this? Down here, it's got to grow. So it might take 2 years to grow down to that. And that could be moisture. Whereas fungi can do it pretty much overnight. Within a few weeks, it can be already in that moisture and nutrients and minerals. So this is really important about soil. So I hope this has covered a lot for you on soil, about soil biochar, soil compost, so that's feeding the soil and keeping it alive, soil mycorrhizae, beneficial fungi, and how to grow soil effectively and efficiently. So thank you. This is Earthlove Global, and if you would like to learn more in regards to soil, then contact Earthlove Global's soil team. We're happy to help in any way, shape or possible. And look at that little fella. He's super tiny. And he's going to turn into that in the next day or so. Incredible. I wouldn't suggest to go and eat any type of fungi, but you can grow your own. If you'd like to learn more on food forests and growing mushrooms, then jump on to www.earthloveglobal.com.au, and we're happy to guide, teach and run workshops and events, services for cattle stations and farms. Yes, we look after soil. We transform million-acre properties, and these services and products are nothing like you've ever seen before. Thank you from the whole entire team here at Earthlove Global. We'll be back next week with more soil information.